Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is how Moloch Baal worshippers, how they control the world. Now, this is such a deep subject. I mean, I could probably talk on it all day long and still not cover it, but I'm going to try to get across a couple of basic principles so that you can understand just how pervasive their control of the world is. How Moloch and Baal works to control the world. Article: Biden's diesel fuel supply crisis could cripple America in ways never before seen. Diesel doesn't get as much of the limelight as oil and gas, but it should, because diesel fuel is the industrial lifeblood of the United States. And the price of diesel alone probably has more significant impact on inflation and the prices you're paying at the grocery store over any other factor. Without ample amounts of diesel, semi-trucks don't move. Remember, there's a prophecy, came from Pastor Massey, that the 18-wheelers would not be moving. So this is serious stuff. Farms shut down. Critical manufacturing sectors are all crippled. The U.S. has just 25 days of diesel supply left, which is at the lowest rate since 2008. The Biden administration has remained strangely silent. Well, again, their objective is to take down America so they can put their man, the Antichrist, the beast, on the Ark of the Covenant. The Biden administration has remained strangely silent, probably hoping that the dismal news doesn't hit the mainstream, because it's a total political time bomb waiting to go off, especially as the midterm elections are so close. I can almost tell you what Fox News is going to put on every night. It's the same agenda because that's what is approved by their owners, the Moloch and Baal worshippers. Now, I'm going someplace with this. Let me make my point. It goes on to say in the same article, different article, U.S. diesel shortage worsens. Supplies of fuel are at a 14-year low amid a ban on imports from Russia, portending further price spikes. Mansfield Energy, remember that. Mansfield Energy, one of the nation's major fuel distributors, instituted emergency measures on Tuesday and warned its customers that carriers were being forced to visit multiple terminals, in some cases, to find supplies, delaying deliveries. With shortages spreading from the northeast to the southeast, the company advised customers to give a 72-hour notice for their orders in order to avoid having to pay above market prices. In many areas, this is going to make sense in just a second, stay with me. In many areas, actual fuel prices are currently 30 to 80 cents per gallon higher than those posted market average because supply is tight. Said Mansfield, which delivers over 3 billion gallons of oil products annually, with the relatively low-cost suppliers running out of diesel, distributors are forced to draw from higher-cost sources, resulting in unusually wide spreads of pricing. Now, the point of what I'm trying to get across is not just that we're short on diesel. It's not just that diesel powers the whole nation. It's not just that the price of diesel is going up. Instead, I'm trying to show you how Moloch and Baal worshippers control this. So I looked up Mansfield. Seemed like a nice company, and you see my disclaimer off to the side. I'm not saying anything bad about Mansfield or about the Delivery One network or any dental or physicians associations, as I'm about to cover. So Mansfield, what about it? It says Mansfield Energy is the trusted partner to fleets and organizations across North America, solving their most demanding energy procurement, supply, logistics, and challenges. Founded in 1957, Mansfield Energy is a family-owned organization. Now, if it truly is family-owned, that does not necessarily mean that it's not controlled. Now, again, I don't know about Mansfield. I'm not trying to attack Mansfield. They're probably a good family-owned company. That's not my point. I'm trying to show you how the Moloch and Baal worshippers needle themselves into companies and organizations to control them. So here it says it's a family-owned organization headquartered in Georgia, in every U.S. state and all 10 Canadian provinces. Mansfield provides reliable fuel supply, logistics, DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, we talked about that, additives, and strategic solutions. In addition to owning Mansfield, it represents the largest independent fuel distribution network in the country. Now, notice this. The Delivery One network, which enables us to deliver products, remember this, which enables us to deliver products and services exclusively to more customers in extremely efficient ways. I'm going to tie this together. This is going to be important. Now let's skip down. 1957, when Jane and Winnie Mansfield started a new business by purchasing a city's service oil company franchise. Right there it is. Now, again, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Mansfield. God bless Mansfield. I hope they do real well. But here's the way Moloch and Baal worshipers get into a company like this. One, they might send their representative knocking on the front door. It might be a phone call. And they might say, we would like for you to join us. And it might sound something like, if you join us, then we're going to see to it that you sell more of your product. If you need loans, we'll help you get the loan. If you need financing, we'll help your company to grow. We'll help you to connect up with other people. Now, how many people say no to that? They'd say, yeah, that sounds real good. But the devil's in the fine print. Okay, the fine print is, but should we need you to do something for us, we need you to do that. If you'll agree to that, then we will see. And they agree to it, not understanding that the devil now has control of the company. And so they jump in and they get this big loan. They get it with an amazing low interest rate. They're able to buy this company and that company, and they grow and they grow and they grow, and everything is just going wonderful. This organization comes along and says, hey, we'll help you change your logo. And in the logo is hidden a 666 emblem. Why? Because that lets all of the other Moloch worshiping or owned businesses know that they're part of the system. Do business with them. But there's more. This may go on for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Everything's great. Big company making lots of money. But then one day, a phone call comes in and says, look, we need you to shut down your distribution. What? Remember, you made an agreement that if we need you to do something, at what time we ask, and it may be a long time, maybe a small thing, maybe it'll never come. But at what time we ask, you agreed to do it. Well, yeah, but I didn't know it would do that. Well, that's the deal. We need you to stop selling DEF. Or we need you to cut your supply by 50%. Well, that means I'm not going to make as much money. Not to worry. We got plenty of money. We'll take care of you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, I want you to look up here. They're also part of Delivery One Network. Now, again, I'm not saying anything bad about Delivery One Network. I did not look up Delivery One Network. I did not know anything about them. But it does say it enables them to deliver products and services exclusively to more customers in extremely efficient ways. So it may be that Mansfield never got a call from the elite. It may be that they just did all of this business growing, but they joined Delivery One. And the way that might have happened, it might have been a phone call, might have been a knock on the door and say, hey, we have started this new company called Delivery One Network. And boy, we think if you join this for the first year, you're going to get a 30% increase in sales guaranteed. But we think that within a few years, you can hit 50% and maybe even an 80% growth if you join Delivery One. Well, hey, boy, that sounds great to me. Let me join Delivery One Network. So they join them. Now, Mansfield, for example, might not be part of any evil, but maybe Delivery One is. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about Delivery One. I'm only using it to make an example. But Delivery One has their neck in a noose. In other words, someone a long time ago went to Delivery One. Now, we know they didn't. I'm using it for an example here. Again, I'm not talking bad about these companies. But Delivery One has had someone come knocking at the door, a phone call, saying, hey, how would you like to be the number one distribution network for all oil and gas, not only in America, but in Canada and also Mexico too? Oh, that sounds great to me. Well, what's entailed? Well, we're going to help you get loans. We're going to help you make connections. We're going to set this all up. We'll help you also to do things like a new logo for your company. We're going to step in. We're going to help your company in all kinds of ways. The only thing we ask is if at what time, and we may not ask it at ever, it may be a long time, but if at what time we come to you and ask you for a favor, you will do us a favor. Well, what would they say? Of course. You're going to double or triple my business. You're going to get me loans when I need them, low-cost loans. Yeah, sounds good to me. Now, that is how they take control of companies. And it sounds okay until one day, Delivery One Network gets a phone call and says, you remember me? Yeah. We're very appreciative of all the loans, very appreciative helping our company grow and everything. Okay, well, we need you to stop selling DEF. What? Wait a minute. We're going to cover you. Or we need you to require all of your employees to start wearing masks. Or we need you to have all of your employees to get a vaccine. See what I'm saying? What is wrong with this? You say, well, it's a piece of bread. You're right. It's a piece of bread I took out of this loaf. This loaf is a 1 pound loaf, and there's something missing from this bread. Even though it says it is whole wheat, there's still something missing from this and almost all of the bread you're eating. See, the story was in 1860, the smart humans decided that they were going to outstrip God and that they could figure out a way to where the flour would not spoil, because once you break the wheat berry, then it begins to spoil, and in 7 to 10 days, it's got mold. So they figured out how they could be smarter than God. We're going to take out the outside shell and then the wheat germ. We're only going to use the white powder part of the wheat. And that doesn't spoil. And they're right. You can put it in a bag. 5 years later, it's still there. But then, of course, there's something else they removed. And that is most. Now, not all, but most of the nutrition. So then they had to pass all of these laws saying you got to put niacin, you got to put vitamins, you got to do this, put all of this into the... So why not just use what God made? So the difference between this and what I made is this. That's the difference in my bread, whole wheat bread, versus what you buy in the store. The bigger slice here, this is actually cherry, cinnamon, honey, and vanilla mixed together. And I made this. So when you make your own homemade bread, you can make it flavor any way. You want jalapeno, you got it. You want to have seeds, sesame seeds, however you want to, you can make it. But the big advantage to making your own whole wheat bread is that it's probably the cheapest way to have long-term storage food, because most of your long-term storage food companies cost $9,000 to $10,000 per person per year. But at Joseph's Kitchen, they can show you how to feed your family for about $1,000 per person per year, and it's whole wheat. Okay, so what is whole wheat over the regular wheat? Well, you remember the 7 years of plenty followed by the 7 years of famine of Joseph and the Pharaoh. Well, that meant that the whole world lived off of wheat for 7 years. Now, I don't think that maybe Jesus said, man should not live by bread alone, meaning you should have other things that you should eat. However, about the closest thing out there that'll feed you not only good tasting but also nutrition for your body is wheat. And so we recommend you go to josephskitchen.com. When you go there, you got to get 2 things. One is you have to get a machine package. That's the items that you need to actually physically make the bread. It's a wheat grinder where you put the wheat in. 30 seconds later, you have flour. You put it into a bread machine with 6 other ingredients. Push a button, 2 hours, 20 minutes later, you have a nice, hot, steaming loaf of wonderful, that you made, whole wheat bread. Slice that up. The slicer's even included. The beakers, everything. It's everything you need to make bread. Then you decide how much food you want to have. You want to have food for 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year. You place your order, and they have it in stock. Because most of these long-term storage food places, they're out. Some of them are 2 or 3 months. Some of them are even longer behind in filling their orders. But at Joseph's Kitchen, they can ship within 2 or 3 days. And they ship around the world. go to josephskitchen.com. I'm telling you that the prophecies say there's about to be a food shortage, and if you want to listen to what God's trying to warn us about, then you'll get this long-term storage food. So I looked up. This is not just the way they control oil and gas. This is the way they control everything. Again, I'm not talking bad about the American Dental Association, but this is how they control them. So they go to the American Dental Association, and it may be that the Moloch and Baal worshippers even started the whole thing. Some people say that they started the FBI. I do not know that that's true. Some people say they started and controlled the CIA. I do not know that that's true either. But this is the way they do it, and that's the point I'm trying to make. So try to imagine that they set up an American Dental Association 40, 50, 60, 80 years ago, whatever it was. Well, if you're going to be a dentist, then you have to be a member of our association. Okay, well, that sounds real good. And they're going to make sure that the dentists are not damaging people's mouths and their teeth, and that they're doing it right. And then they get laws passed that says, okay, so if you're not a member of the American Dental Association, then you cannot practice dentistry. So what does that mean? That it's a good thing. Okay, so we're going to try to keep people from damaging people's teeth. But then at what time we call you and we say, American Dental Association, we need you to do a favor for us, you'll do it. So they get a phone call one day and says, we need you to tell everyone that walks in your door that they must wear a mask. I don't want to do that. I don't agree with that. Well, you don't understand. It's not a request. You remember when we helped you set up the American Dental Association? Remember that one little thing, that one little clause where we said, but if we have a favor, you'll do it? Oh, yeah. All of a sudden now, American Dental Association is controlled. What does that mean? That means that they're controlling all of the dentists, because then they just say, okay, well, if you're a dentist and if you're a member of the American Dental Association, you must tell everyone walking in your door they have to wear a mask. That's the way it works. And that's my point. Again, I'm not saying bad about American Dental Association. Let's go to the next one. And this is other things dealing with it. But let's go to the next one. So you have to wear a mask. That's what they say today. But tomorrow they might say you have to have a digital account. And then the next day they might say, but you have to have a cell phone to access that digital account. The next day they say, well, now you got to take a mark. You got to bend the knee. You got to worship our world leader in order to get access to all of your money on the cell phone. That means no one can buy or sell save you have the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Let me give you another way to control people. Have you ever been to the grocery store and they say, join our discount membership and you can get a discount on many of the purchases? Okay, what are they doing? Are they doing that so that they can give people money? Are they doing that so that they don't have to have people pay as much? It's been said that if you get something free, then you are the commodity. So when they give you something free for getting a discount, they're tracking you. And by tracking you, then that lets them know things to sell you later. And they sell that information to other people. Have you ever been to a gasoline station? And it says, hey, have you joined our discount membership? You get a 3-cent per gallon discount if you do. Do you think that the gasoline company just wants to give away 3 cents a gallon? No. They're doing it for their benefit. What are they doing? Right now, they're selling information. Right now, they're saying, oh, hey, okay, this guy buys gas, but when he buys gas, he also buys donuts and a Coke. So then guess what? When you're directed in the ads on your cell phone, they direct them to buy donuts, Coca-Cola, and things like that. Same thing with prescriptions. When I turned 65, I discovered a whole new world out there. And that there is a world out there that takes care of people that are 65, and I appreciate that. And I discovered something. Used to be that anytime I got a prescription, I always got it from my doctor. But then when I turned 65, now I could get set up in a system where they automatically send me any prescription I have most of them at no cost. If I do have to pay anything, it's like pennies on the dollar, which, of course, that's nice. That's wonderful. Thanks to the Democrats, they set that all up, which, by the way, is a giant step towards communism, which, of course, I don't agree with. But I discovered that if I get a prescription from a doctor, then they don't send it to me in the mail. So one day I said, do you guys have like one central computer for all of the prescriptions? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we do. See, that way they can't go over to Dr. A and say, I need this. And then get the prescription, go to Dr. B and say, I need this, and get the same prescription. Dr. C and get the same prescription. Now they can overdose. No, it all goes through the same computer, and you can't pick it up like that. Why? Oh, they don't want to see people hurt. They don't want to see people get overdosed. Well, I agree with that. Again, associations are good. It's good to be able to track and monitor certain things. That is, as long as it's good people tracking and monitoring them. But what happens when you can't get your prescriptions unless you have the mark of the beast? Do you see where we're going? See, today, what is okay to do today might not be okay tomorrow. Today, you don't have to have the mark to get your prescriptions, but tomorrow you will. Today, you don't have to have the mark to access your money, but tomorrow you will. Today, you don't have to have the mark to access your doctor or to go to a hospital or get your teeth fixed or have a prescription or have a surgery. But tomorrow, so that no man might buy it. Are you seeing where I'm going? They have controlled almost everything out there. Ask yourself this. How are they controlling me? At what time they decide to close the door so I can't see the doctor unless I have a mask. But today they say you can't see the doctor unless you have the mark. See what I'm saying? Today you can't go into the grocery store without a mask. You can't buy anything at the grocery store unless you're part of the association. You can't go to the dentist unless the dentist is part of the association. See, it's all tied together. This is how they control us. We're all tracked and controlled, and the problem is, if you can give it, you can take it away. Remember, Henry Kissinger said that he who controls food controls people. He who controls energy can control whole continents. But he who controls money can control the whole world, so that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Traffic lights. Now, this is the way they look where I live. Probably you too. Why are they putting traffic lights up? Well, in case there's a wreck, they know what exactly happened. Oh, yes, so they're spending billions of dollars putting cameras out there so that they know what really happened in a wreck? Do you really believe that? Or do you believe that that camera is going up and it's already checking every license plate that goes through it, every one of them? It's all kept in a big computer, so if they want to know your particular traffic patterns, the fact that you go play racquetball every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, they can find out. Oh, here he comes. He'll be here in the next 3 minutes. Come right through that light right there. Next 3 minutes, what? Here he comes. We'll get him then. Ask yourself how that ties together with the mark of the beast. Now let's go to the next one. Do you think that they put up these cameras and spent millions of dollars just so they can make sure that someone pays their $2 toll? Or do you think that they might want to find you? Because if you don't have that mark, they're going to find you. And you're going to take that mark, and you're going to lose your head. That's where we're really going with all of this, my brothers and sisters. Okay, Terry Saka, Cornerstone, AssetMetals.com. Why should people be calling Cornerstone today?
I was actually watching an interview with a very powerful psychoanalyst, and he brought up Dimitri Duduman, and I was very impressed. I was like, Dimitri Duduman, that's one of Stan's main guy in prophecy. He was talking about cycles of market crashes and financial realignments. In the next 45 days, we are looking at such a severe possibility of a 40 to 50% market correction by design, and that will lead to an extraordinary opportunity to take advantage of gold and silver while it's at these low prices.
All right. So, in your opinion, is it better that they get gold or silver?
Silver is very undervalued. The banks have to get out of the short position, so I think they're going to take it to this low as it is now, and that would be your best opportunity for return on investment, and definitely the easiest to unload when the time comes.
Okay, so how does it work? They go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, and eventually, they're going to make a phone call, and they're going to set up an account, and then the money trades hands. How does that work?
Yeah, so they either register on our website or they give us a call. We'll walk them through their options. Once we have cleared monies into the account, we can actually get the product in line for shipment, depending on what you order. It could take anywhere from 7 days to 6 weeks, depending on what it is. But once you actually lock in that order, it is owned and it will eventually be there.
Now, what if they want to buy a whole bunch of it, but they don't have a place that they really want to store it? Can you store it for them?
Oh, that's a big one. We have a lot of clients that they go upwards to 7 figures, and it's obviously better to have 40,000 ounces in a private depository than it is at home. And so we find a lot of people do store in a private depository. It's independent, so it's not related to any part of the banking system. But the important part is when it's there, you can buy and sell it very easy. And because Cornerstone also has an affiliated account at that depository, we can literally transfer the assets right into our account and wire funds to you fairly quick.
Okay, so it's not actually physically held in Switzerland, is it?
I would never be holding anything in Switzerland. I think that's the epicenter of Satanism, right?
Okay, so it's Terry Saka at cornerstoneassetmetals.com, cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Go there, check it out today. Now let's talk about water. Cornerstone had a dream, and he said he saw headlines that said, entire communities poisoned through water supply. Reporters were telling people to drink nothing but bottled water or water they knew was not connected to the local water supply. It was affecting both larger and smaller communities. Boiling water was not an effective way of making any water safe. Leslie Johnson had a prophecy back in 2011. She says, the Lord says there's going to be something put into the water supply in many cities of the nation. People will begin to get sick, some will die. Get a good, reliable water filter. You will not be able to trust the tap water or the bottled water. You must get something to filter the water you are going to need. That's back in 2011. So if you want it, we suggest you go to prophecyclub.com. You click right here where it says Berkeys. This is what it looks like. Currently, all Berkeys are in stock. The one I have is this guy right here. It's the Crown. It has 8 filters. I recommend you get as much as you can afford, and also recommend you get some extra filters. That's at prophecyclub.com. Next is, I'll send you to EMPShield.com. If you use the promo word prophecy, you get a $50 discount. So, EMPShield.com, promo code prophecy.